Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a shocking and intense situation coming out of Russia's capital. Moscow is facing one of the most destructive fires in recent history. Reports are coming in describing massive flames, widespread chaos, and billions of dollars in damages. This incident has raised serious questions not only about safety and infrastructure, but also about political stability, emergency preparedness, and what this means for Russia on the global stage. In this video, we are going to break down what happened, why it happened, the possible causes, the reactions across the world, how this will impact Russia internally, and the potential long-term consequences. The images and videos emerging from the scene have stunned viewers worldwide, showing towering flames lighting up the night sky as emergency sirens echoed through the streets. Let's explore the full story behind this unprecedented blaze and why it matters more than most people realize. According to eyewitness accounts and initial reports, the fire erupted in a major commercial area of Moscow, affecting multiple buildings, warehouses, and possibly government-linked facilities. Some sources claim that the blaze started in a large logistics or industrial complex, while others suggest it could have originated in residential or mixed-use buildings. What makes this particularly alarming is the scale. This was not a minor incident. The flames were so large they could be seen from miles away. Entire blocks were engulfed, thick plumes of black smoke covered the sky, and people were forced to evacuate as the fire rapidly spread. Videos posted online showed cars exploding, structures collapsing, and firefighters struggling to contain the inferno. This was not just any fire. This was a billion-dollar disaster that caused panic, confusion, and speculation about what really went wrong. Authorities have released limited information, and there are conflicting reports about the number of casualties or injuries. Some unofficial sources say multiple people were trapped inside buildings, and emergency teams worked around the clock to rescue survivors. Others argue that the full extent of the damage is being downplayed by local officials. Moscow is one of the wealthiest and most heavily guarded cities in Russia, with high-level security and strict regulations. So how could such a massive fire spread out of control? Was this simply an accident caused by outdated infrastructure, electrical faults, or negligence? Or was there something more behind it, perhaps sabotage, criminal activity, or even a deliberate act? These questions are now at the center of intense debate. One of the most talked-about theories is that the building codes and fire safety systems in Russia may not be as strong as they appear. Many experts have pointed out that despite modern architecture in Moscow, some older structures still rely on outdated electrical wiring, poor ventilation, and weak emergency exits. If that's the case, then this fire could be a tragic example of infrastructure failure. However, others believe that this might not have been accidental at all. In the past year, Russia has experienced several mysterious fires at factories, oil depots, government facilities, and even military-related sites. Some of these were blamed on drones or sabotage linked to the ongoing geopolitical tensions. If this incident is connected to similar patterns, it could represent a major act of internal or external pressure. As the blaze burned through the night, the Russian government mobilized hundreds of firefighters, dozens of fire engines, and emergency response teams. But the scale was so large that it took hours just to contain part of the fire. People watching from nearby buildings shared terrifying footage, and many residents were forced to flee their homes. Streets were blocked, traffic was halted, and public transportation was disrupted. Some eyewitnesses described hearing loud bangs, which could have been gas lines bursting or structural collapses. Fire crews struggled with access to water supplies, adding another layer of complexity. This raised questions about how prepared Moscow truly is for large-scale disasters, especially in densely populated areas. Internationally, the reaction has been mixed. Some countries expressed concern and offered assistance, while others saw the incident as a reflection of deeper issues within Russia. Critics argue that this disaster exposes weaknesses in the system, lack of transparency, poor oversight, and possibly corruption in construction and safety regulations. Supporters of the government, however, claim that the fire was a freak event and that the authorities responded as quickly as possible. Social media exploded with reactions, ranging from sympathy to conspiracy theories. Some users insisted that the blaze was too large and too sudden to be an accident. Others pointed out that Russia has faced increasing internal pressure, and this could be a sign of growing instability or resistance. Economically, the impact of this fire will be huge. Early estimates suggest losses in the billions, especially if the affected area included business centers, storage facilities, or manufacturing structures. If any government or high-tech buildings were involved, the damage could be even more severe. Insurance companies will face massive payouts, and businesses may struggle to recover. The local workforce could face layoffs, and supply chains could be disrupted. At a time when Russia is already dealing with sanctions, currency fluctuations, and global isolation, this disaster adds another layer of strain. Rebuilding these structures will take enormous resources, and the government will likely face pressure to explain how this was allowed to happen. Politically, the blaze could have serious consequences. Russia's leadership is already under global scrutiny, and internal criticism has been rising. If people believe the fire was preventable, the public could blame officials for negligence. Opposition voices may use this incident to question the government's competence or accuse it of covering up information. On the other hand, the government might use the disaster as an excuse to tighten security measures, increase surveillance, or crack down on any group suspected of involvement. This could shift the political climate even further. It's also possible that the state will use propaganda to shift the narrative and portray the emergency response as heroic in an attempt to calm fears and restore trust. Another major angle to consider is the psychological impact. Seeing your capital city in flames is a frightening experience for any population. Moscow is not just any city. It is the heart of Russia's power, culture, economy, and history. When a massive fire breaks out in such an important place, people feel vulnerable. They begin to question whether they are truly safe, whether the government can protect them, and what other disasters might be lurking around the corner. This fear can lead to social unrest or increased anxiety. At the same time, it can also spark unity, with communities coming together to help victims, donate supplies, and support recovery efforts. In the aftermath, investigators will play a crucial role in uncovering the truth. Was this caused by faulty wiring, human error, or lack of maintenance? Did any alarms or emergency systems fail to activate? Were safety regulations ignored to save money? Or was this part of a larger plan, whether criminal or political? The answers will determine the next steps. If it was negligence, there may be lawsuits, resignations, or prosecutions. If it was sabotage or a deliberate act, then this could escalate into a national security issue. The world will be watching closely to see how honest and transparent the investigation will be, and whether the real story will be revealed or hidden behind official statements. As Moscow begins the long process of recovery, the focus will shift to rebuilding and preventing future disasters. This could lead to major reforms in building safety, modernized infrastructure, and stricter regulations. But the question remains, will real change happen? Or will things return to business as usual once the flames are out? History shows that in many cases, governments make promises after a tragedy but fail to follow through. If Russia wants to avoid another billion-dollar catastrophe, it will need serious improvements in emergency planning, maintenance, and transparency. Citizens will expect answers and accountability, and the international community will be monitoring how Russia handles this crisis. In conclusion, the fire that tore through Moscow is more than just a tragic incident. It is a powerful symbol of deeper issues. It exposes weaknesses in infrastructure, raises suspicion about possible sabotage, challenges the government's credibility, and has massive economic consequences. It also highlights how quickly chaos can unfold in even the most secure cities. Whether this was an accident or something more intentional, it will shape public opinion and policy for years to come. The world is now waiting for the full story, and whatever comes next will have ripple effects far beyond Moscow itself. Let's hope the people affected receive the help they need and that real lessons are learned from this disaster. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video.